Hi, this is Phil. This is video 10 for the Anna Wilson Children's Home run by the Salvation Army between 1976 and 1981. Getting the truth, finding the truth, sharing the truth, getting justice, getting closure, getting in contact with the kids who lived at the Anna Wilson home, and to finally be able to move on with my life. Now, from video 9, because this is now video 10, this is the latest update. Now, there were a couple of things which I didn't include on the abuse from the previous video, on video 9, and that was also that when I was 3-4 years old, roughly, when I moved to the Anna Wilson home, there were a group of kids, could have been anything between 10 and 12 kids, quite easily, in a very, very small room. It would literally be maybe 12 foot by 15 foot, that size. I mean, not much bigger than that, to be honest. And between 10 and 12 kids, might have been maximum 15 kids at one time, could have been in this room. We were locked up in this room from breakfast, after breakfast through till lunchtime, and then after lunchtime through till tea. And then, most of the kids went to bed pretty much after tea, because we would go to bed at 6:30, 7 o'clock in the evening. Thus, that was a time when we were so-called put in the nursery, which was locked up permanently. And we used to have to sing, "Major, Major, can we go to the toilet? Major, Major, can we go now?" And we would sing this song, and it's not really a song, but we would rhyme it because we just really wanted to get attention of the Major so that we could go to the toilet, because literally we were locked up in this room all day long. Now, I don't know how long I stayed in this room for, up to what age, but I can remember it must have been for many years. Now, the other thing is that if we ever spoke back to the Major, or we ever stood up for ourselves, the Major would also tell us to eat soap. She would put a bit of soap in her hand and say for us to lick the soap, sometimes for us to chew the soap, and in really bad situations for us to swallow the soap. This is so that we wouldn't answer back and we wouldn't disrespect the Major, even though she was our abuser. So I didn't actually remember that while during the previous video, but that's what's always was done in the past. And the soap thing, I remember that at a later date, and I probably only remembered that maybe about, I don't know, 4 months ago, something like that. That I can actually remember that came to my mind once when I was thinking about what happened to me when I was at the Anna Wilson home. So anyway, now I'm at the stage where I have been in contact with the ICO. I've been in contact with Kent Police. I put in a complaint about Kent Police because they weren't giving me any details about if any reports of any allegations or reports put forward to Kent Police about child abuse at the Anna Wilson home, run by the Salvation Army between 1976 and 1981. Now, the situation is this. When I first emailed the ICO, the ICO basically would say, we'd be in contact with you within 14 days. And then when I presumed that they would be in contact with me within 14 days, they were actually in contact with me within 10 days. And I thought, well, a month goes by. Is that from the beginning of the 14 days of them coming to me with information? Or is that two weeks of them giving me information, of them contacting me saying that, we can deal with your case and your case is going to open? Or did my case actually officially opened at the beginning of those 14 days? but they just said that they would be in contact with me within 14 days. So I thought I might have had to wait for a month and a half at the latest scenario situation. I had contact with the ICO within the month of them contacting me, of a month of first originally getting in contact with them most recently about the case with Kent Police, because Kent Police hadn't given me any information about any allegations or reports of abuse reported to Kent Police by anybody, such as the kids or any member of, either a member of staff or even somebody who doesn't even live at the home, who have maybe connections to the home, ever reported anything. To this day, I do not know. So I put in a complaint to the ICO. The ICO then get in contact with me in a very indirect way of basically saying, you have not enough proof for us to carry on this case. So the ICO are basically closing the case down, because I haven't actually asked them to provide me with a crime reference number. Now, I'm not sure about you, but I was frustrated by this. They worded the email to me, this is the ICO, they emailed the wording to me was that I put down in my emails, as in, did Kent Police receive any allegations or reports of any child abuse? Whereas the ICO are basically saying, I would like a crime reference number of any child abuse. And because the wording was like that I didn't use, can you give me a crime reference number, the ICO basically closed down my case, because I actually hadn't asked them directly for a crime reference number. Well, to be honest, any allegations or reports of child abuse is really asking if they got any crime reference numbers. And basically the ICO closed down my case. So I have now put in a complaint against the ICO about this, about the ridiculous, pathetic excuse for basically not dealing with this case, by down to the wording of me saying that I used, have you had any allegations or reports of child abuse or neglect, instead of me putting down, have you got a crime reference number of any child abuse or neglect, which to me is really the same thing, but I just didn't word it properly. So anyway, they have now closed down my case. Now I have now put in a complaint against the ICO, and now I've got to wait another 30 days. Now that was last week. So 7 days has gone by-ish since then. Now I have also back then, I reworded my email to Kent Police saying, have you got any crime reference numbers of any child abuse or reports of child neglect or any allegations reported with a crime reference number? That's what I didn't use those exact words, but basically I asked them if they had a crime reference number on any reports or abuse allegations reported. So I used the crime reference number. Have you got a crime reference number? So I'm waiting for the reply. Within less than a week, I mean, I'm talking like, could have been a day, could have been 2 days. I mean, it was less than a week, like that. They turned around to me and they said this, my worst fear. The same with the situation with the files being disclosed and being not retained with care home files, that basically they're destroyed after 25 years. Well, apparently I found out through Kent Police that 25 years is the cap for any crime reference numbers being held back by Kent Police. So basically, if there was any report of a crime reference number or any child abuse allegations or any reports of child neglect, child cruelty, child abuse, after 25 years, the files are destroyed. So now it is the case that I do not have a crime reference number. because 25 years is the retention cut-off. So anything which is basically more than 25 years old, that paperwork is then destroyed, because they're saying that they don't have the facilities to store that amount of paperwork. So I then put an internal complaint against Kent Police about the whole situation, that if a crime reference number is destroyed when it's in any form of connection with child abuse, it should be retained. So I then asked my local MP for the details to be retained, not from 25 years, but to be increased to 100 years. So if any form of child abuse, child neglect, psychological, mental, physical, sexual, any type of abuse should be retained for 100 years. And if it's in paperwork, then it should be downloaded onto digital systems, so that they don't have to keep the paperwork anymore, but at least it's on a digital system and it's saved in an electronic file instead of paper files. And I cannot believe that paper files get destroyed even if there's any form of connection with child abuse. So I've now found out that 25 years is the cut-off where basically all paperwork just gets destroyed. And yet I'm trying to get the law changed now, so that paperwork, if it's connected to any form of child abuse, adult abuse within a care home, within a children's home, within an old people's home, within any community home where kids or adults are living, that all information should be retained digitally, full stop. The paperwork should not be destroyed. If it is destroyed, before the paperwork is destroyed, it should be put onto electronic devices and stored electronically. And that's my next case now. I put this through to my local MP. So now I'm waiting for an internal complaint with the ICO, and now I'm waiting for an internal complaint about Kent Police and about retention of files and information which is connected with any possibility of forms of abuse should definitely, indefinitely be saved for up to 100 years. And that's it. That is literally where I'm waiting at now, because I can't do anything more. It is literally in the hands of the ICO dealing with my complaint, and it's now within the Kent Police to deal with my complaint, and hopefully that I can get my local MP to deal with the Justice Minister to basically get the law changed for all files, all documentations, diaries, rotas, rosters, any form of connection with any form of community, children's home, adult home, should be saved electronically, so that if there is at a later date any form of abuse which gets reported, that paperwork is not destroyed, it's put on electronic files. So that is pretty much it for me. I'm out of here. It could be at least another month before I get any form of an update, because literally when you ask for an internal review or a complaint, it's a minimum of 30 days. So I'm literally going to be waiting for at least another 21 days for anything to come forward. But say this is it. This is the end of YouTube video 10, getting justice, finding the truth, sharing the truth, finding the kids from the Anna Wilson home between 1976 and 1981, and getting closure, and to stop this information being destroyed, because it just does not destroy the child's childhood. It destroys that child's life. And if closure can be helped to be made for it, then really there shouldn't be a problem with them being able to, such as any organisation, the police, local authority, local government, to retain these files for up to 100 years electronically minimum. not 25 years, which is a joke. Anyway, I'm out of here now. This is the end of video 10. May not be another update for at least 3 to 4 weeks. Okay, I'm out of here. Have a good day and thanks for listening. And please like and share. And sorry if I do go on a bit, but as I say, I'm doing this how I am and how I run it. And, you know, I try and do it as quickly, as efficient as I can. I'm out of here. Have a good day, everyone. Bye.